Hello, I'm Jonathan Fryer, and I'd like to thank you for tuning in to this first video of our European campaign in London, where we're trying to make it to Lib Dem MEPs in the European Parliament in June. Over the next few weeks and months, I'll be putting out fortnightly videos to talk about the different policy areas we're touching on, things like the environment and the economy and fighting international crime, as well as topical issues both domestic and international. If there are particular questions you'd like to put, then do please log on to my Facebook group, Jonathan Fryer for Europe, and there'll be a facility there where you can do that. Today, though, what we're going to do is just talk a little bit about why I have got so involved in European affairs and why I think that London should be at the heart of Europe and European issues at the heart of Londoners' minds. I first became involved in European issues when Reuters news agency sent me to Brussels to cover the European institutions, and I began to realise the fantastic potential of the organisation. There were only 9 member states back then, now 27, and I've been lucky and able to work in all of those countries in the intervening period. Of course, the story of Europe's development hasn't finished. There's still much that needs to be improved, much that needs to be done. This time I want to be there to help be part of that process of development. London is the most cosmopolitan city in Europe, and in many ways it is challenging Brussels as being the capital of Europe, drawing in workers and tourists and visitors. But London hasn't really achieved the status within Europe that it should have done because of the lack of commitment that both Conservative and Labour governments have had towards the European Union. I'm determined when I'm in the European Parliament, if I'm elected next time, to make sure that London really gets its full place. And it's a place where not only people can work and study, but enjoy themselves as visitors. One of the key principles of Liberal Democrat politics is the idea that we have to have joined up thinking, integrating different levels of government so that we get decisions nearer to the people, but not, as some parties think, all about pushing power up to Brussels. The issue is really making sure that decisions are taken at the proper level. So in the European Parliament I'd be working not only with members of the British Parliament at Westminster, but also with members of the Greater London Assembly here at City Hall, and indeed, where appropriate, with local councillors as well, to make sure that we know what each other is doing and we're singing to one hymn sheet. When the financial crisis hit London, the city, of course, was the first place that suffered, as people lost jobs, had to move out of their offices. But it's absolutely essential that we get not just the City of London working again, but the whole British economy. And of course there is a European element to that. It's not just what British banks or British companies do. And one thing I was glad about it was that at last the government accepted that we had to work in harmony with our European partners, which is what we should be doing. When foreign visitors come to London, they enthuse about the green spaces that there are in this city, and it's true compared with somewhere like Paris, for example. We're very well endowed. Indeed, there are even new parks like here at Mile End where I live, but we've nothing to be complacent about, because there are also environmental challenges in this city, not least with the grotesque plan of the Labour government to have a 3rd runway at Heathrow Airport. I'll be working closely with Susan Kramer and other MPs and Sarah Ludford, MEP for London, to make sure that we fight this absurd decision and try to get it reversed. The third of the issues, apart from environment and the economy, that I'll really be focusing on over the next weeks and months is security. In other words, the way that we can use, through better European cooperation, our efforts to halt or at least reduce drug trafficking, people trafficking, that sort of thing. Between now and the election on the 4th of June, I'll be putting out a series of videos looking at the economy, the environment and fighting international crime about once a fortnight. And also be keeping you abreast of the campaign and finding ways perhaps, or suggesting ways that you could be involved. So do please keep checking back.